Call this meeting to order. Would you please join with Pledge Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a roll call, please?
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan, here. Rodriguez,
Here.
Hale,
Here.
Stark,
Here.
Kurt,
Here.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Thank you. I need to make a request to do an adjustment to the agenda before we approve it. The committee did do the evaluation on Al, and John sent it to me Friday. I didn't receive it. I didn't receive it until he sent it just a few minutes ago when I was in here. So can we take off the closed hearing and put that into the next meeting in February?
I make a motion to amend it.
Amend the agenda? Okay. Do I have a second?
What's the reason for that?
You just got it.
It never came through. It didn't go in my spam. I never saw it. So nobody has seen it other than the committee. So, goody, now I'm having trouble getting this going. Oh, well. So, I have a motion and a second to amend our agenda and take off the evaluation of the city manager. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the
Aye.
same. Thank you. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. You didn't need a roll call on that, did you? Okay.
So they'll meet in person then first meeting in February too.
February 8th. If that works out, works for me. Okay.
Okay.
And that way I'll have it to make copies of it and make sure it's available if anybody wants to come up here and look at it, or gives Al a chance to check it beforehand too. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Do we have any public comment that you received any notices from? Okay. Next is to accept and approve the consent agenda. Motion to accept and approve the agenda that approves the following minutes of the, okay, since I can't speak this. That's looking one. The minutes of the January 11th, 2021 regular meeting, budgeted and monthly transfers for December, bank reconciliation for December, and 2020 annual gambling report.
So moved.
second,
A motion and second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. I have to wait for you, aren't I, Deb? Thank you.
Gambling was a little low this year.
I'm trying to get us out of here so before the snow goes and I have to clean off my car. Sorry, not really. Next, I need a motion to approve claims for payment.
so moved. Second,
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve claims. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. The motion's carried. Next, stormwater utility ordinance. I need a motion to consider adopting the ordinance for the second time.
So moved.
second,
I do have a motion and a second for that.
I had one question on that.
Okay,
It's for Steve. In 101.12, in the blue, that language will stay in, but the rest will come out. Is that accurate?
Steve, were you able to hear her question? You're still on there, isn't it?
Deb, the language that was added is highlighted in blue. The only thing that changes is the capital T is a lowercase t.
Okay, there's only one line in blue, and that stays in there?
Yes, that's the new language that was amended to be added that says it's the intent of the council to maintain the initial rates until fiscal 2024. That's the 3 years that you had asked for.
And the rest of that stays in there?
Yes?
Yes?
Yes.
Do you have more
Steve-
questions?
Steve's talking, but I think he's mute.
No?
Yeah, that has to stay in there because you can't bind the hands of future councils. So that expresses it's this council's intent not to revisit rates until 2024. But legally, you can't bar a future council from doing that if they find it necessary. So that's why that language has to stay in there.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Roll call, please.
Callahan? Yes. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Star?
No.
Kurt?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
No.
Motion did carry. Okay, thank you. I'm still not into my computer setup. What's on for? Bear with me. I'm in the right place, preliminary. Okay. Next, I need a motion to adopt a resolution deeming the 2021 pavement rehabilitation project be constructed in the city in accordance with provisions of Chapter 384 of the Code of Iowa, and that a portion of that cost of the project be assessed to the property and benefited.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Star?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan? Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to adopt a preliminary resolution of necessity in accordance with section 384.42 of the Code of Iowa covering the 2021 pavement rehabilitation project.
So moved.
You have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Hill?
Yes.
Star?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan? Yes. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried.
I think you missed B on that.
I missed B. That's what I just read.
We adopted preliminary plan specifications and estimated cost of that schedule.
So moved.
Isn't that what I just read?
No, we did the resolution of necessity.
Skip from A to C.
Motion of a second.
Well, that's right. Motion to adopt a preliminary resolution of necessity in accordance with section 384.42 of the Code of Iowa covering 2021.
We just did that
We
one.
just did that. You
we
have
have a-
one back up there.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second to adopt the, resolution for the preliminary plan specifications and estimate cost of the plat and schedule.
Barb,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Okay, and we already did C, right?
Yeah.
Hill.
Did you get Hill on that one?
Yeah, I just did.
Thank you. I really went out of here, don't I? Okay, we're moving on to Highway 150 reconstruction project. For a public hearing, so I will need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice for the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. We are now in public hearing in regards to the 150 reconstruction project. Have any questions? Did we get anything from public,
No?
email?
I would just say that very happy with the bidding. And,
Yeah.
Having 11 companies bid on this project really was, gave us a good measure that,
It is guaranteeing 2 years of work.
yeah.
Done in sections, so.
As we're talking about a public hearing here for the proposed plan specs and form of contract estimate of cost, I would compliment the engineers for doing a nice job on the plans to achieve 11 sets of bids and a very favorable bid environment all the way across the board, so.
And also for the public, we'll be doing the north component of 150. Because I've had people stop me and say, "What, it's gonna be all torn up down by Red Hills?" I said, "No, 2021 is the northern part from Quick Start to the river." But just let me clarify that. Because that's-
And we don't get as far south as Rydell.
No, I know.
Oh, we won't even in a second
That's-
year.
Right.
I
Okay.
think if there's anything I've heard over the years I've been on the council is when are we gonna get 150 fixed? So,
Yeah.
we are.
Now we can say we know exactly. That's good. Well, if there's no other information on that, I will ask for a motion to close the hearing and receive the file oral and written comments.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. So now we're down to what we were even talking about now. A motion to adopt a resolution approving preliminary plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of costs for the proposed Highway 150 reconstruction project.
So moved.
Second.
Do you have a motion and a second? No further discussion. I would ask for a roll call, please.
Kurt,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. So now we need a motion to consider bids for the Highway 150 reconstruction project.
this isn't actually a motion.
This is not a motion.
Mm,
this
The
is
bonding attorney's always give it so you can discuss it.
Okay,
I would just point out that the engineer's estimate of cost was $7,342,149. Dave Schmidt Construction from Cedar Rapids was $5,434,328. So, again, a very favorable bid. And I've heard a lot of comments about the company since this has been let, and people are excited to get this underway, so. So now you have to do
now we need to go to D.
Right.
Now I need a motion to approve a resolution awarding the contract for the Highway 150 reconstruction project to Dave Schmidt Construction Company of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, in the amount of $5,434,328.60.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Hurst,
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
Just briefly, what's the breakdown as far as between the state and us on cost?
Well, the state will pay up to $3.8 million, but they're only paying for the surface reconstruction. We have the water and the sewer
Right.
portion of that, and I don't have a breakdown for you off the top of my head, but
I've had several calls about that. What's this gonna cost? And then another one, a lady called me tonight just before I left, saying, didn't you bond for that a year ago, or?
we entered into a what do they call it, a design loan with the SRF program for the water and sewer reconstruction.
I know that with the bonding, didn't we, a year or so ago, didn't we get the bond for $2 million towards this?
Not for this, the $2 million I don't think will cover what we have for water and sewer.
That was your question.
That wasn't that for First Street and then some of the 5-year plan, street rehab?
Right. I think we did do streets, but again, this has always been targeted for an SRF loan for the city's portion of, the water and the sewer.
Just for the public too, that's 0% interest.
2%, 0% now, 2% when we get into the construction loan portion.
I think this is a good time to make the point here. This is one of the reasons we're also looking at that stormwater utility fee is to help us on the infrastructure as we tear up these streets. We've had considerable amount of stormwater besides sewer and water. So that's where that fee money would go, is to help us on stormwater projects underneath these streets.
Any other discussion on that? Moving on to other business then, I need a motion to approve additional curb cutout for 111 12th Avenue Northeast.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call on this one, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Hurst,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. At this point, I need to apologize to people for the fact that other than our reports, that's the end of our agenda tonight, and had I known that was gonna happen, we wouldn't have all had to be here. But, because it didn't, I will make sure before I leave tonight that I print off a copy of the evaluation, so it's available if anybody wants to come into City Hall to check it out, and so that Al can actually have a copy of it prior to the evaluation, so he can prepare that also. So we are down to reports. I don't think we had any committee meetings that need to be reported. Did you have your watershed thing yet? Okay. Is there any comments or anything that the council members themselves would like to have tonight before we leave?
I guess, from a Highway 150 perspective, I know the engineers have done a really good job of doing the due diligence and all that, but, I just wanna make sure that we as a city communicate to the residents what the plan is, what the detours are gonna be, and make sure that people are understanding what to expect as we get closer to this. Just from a transparency perspective, we wanna make sure that everybody knows, okay, this is when it starts, these are gonna be the routes, and make sure that we have a good communication plan, whether it be, through social media, newspaper, whatever the case may be. Just because, unfortunately, people sometimes they don't see it, they don't listen. We just wanna make sure that, this is gonna be a little bit of inconvenience for improvement, and we wanna make sure that people understand what's going on and what the goal is.
And it actually will start up by the tracks, doesn't it, or on,
Yeah, the phasing and scheduling that we have in the plans, of course, is to start up at the north end and work our way in 3 segments. And the instructions are that the contractor can only have 2 segments open at any one time. So simultaneously, only 2 of those 3 segments. So if you divide that essentially in half, they're going to have 2.5 to 3 blocks at a time of that open. And we're going to allow them, once they get the utilities done, starting from the north, to open that up, get the utilities done, and then the utilities can move forward to the next segment while they pave the last one, but they wouldn't be able to go on to that third one until they button up the first one. And yeah, once we bring you guys back the contract for your consideration from the contractor, there's a number of different steps that we'll go through. One of which is a pre-construction meeting where the contractor needs to deliver us his schedule. And at that point, then we'll be able to take that schedule and what the contractor anticipates as far as when he's going to have to open and get that out to the public, so that people understand the timing that the contractor anticipates for beginning, middle, and end of the first phase of construction. The first phase is all that's going to be constructed in this calendar year. The next phase to the south will be in 2022. That's also specified in the contract document. Any additional questions on?
Also, I'm not sure if this is the time, but from the standpoint of committee, as you all know, I sit on the 4th of July Celebration Committee, and we have a meeting tomorrow to start discussing seriously about our event for 2021. And at this point, obviously we don't have a whole lot of guidance from a library's perspective, so we're going to have some pretty good discussions about that tomorrow. But we're probably going to have several meetings over the next few months, more than we normally have, to really start talking about feasibility and all that stuff. We're obviously hoping that we have an event, but who knows? So, but we're hoping to
keeping my
try to
fingers
get
crossed.
something put together and have an event, but at the same time be safe and hopefully we'll just have to see what happens from there.
Would, one thing, possibly having an alternative backup that if you can't have it down at Riverwalk Park with all the other festivities. I thought, last year fireworks out by the Agribition Center, at least having the fireworks, I think we could work something out.
Yeah, and last year, that was as a result of a donation from the McDonald's.
Yeah.
And whether they'd be willing to do that again this year, if we end up not having an event, we'll just have to see. But that's just something, obviously, 4th of July is very important to me as a person. I've always loved 4th of July, and fireworks is awesome. So we'd like to at least have that, but, hopefully we'd like to have a whole event. We'll just have to see, how things go and what happens. Now to them.
I don't
Anyone
wanna
else?
take up too much time, because of the weather and everything. But as I usually do at this time of year, I go out amongst the people, and it's getting the budget time. So this year I didn't go as many as I did last year, but I went, several hours on Thursday, Friday, and today. So I'd like to share some of the comments. I was writing as fast as I could in my little notebook. So some of my own writing, I couldn't read type thing, but just have to bear with me a little bit. Some of the questions and topics I asked were sound system for downtown. And I don't want any discussion because it's not on the agenda. We can talk about it, open meeting Monday or whatever. But not all members were contacted. Many said the money amount or where it was coming from was not discussed. Most I spoke with thought the money could be used in a better way. Remember that 2 years from the Highway 50 is going to be rehab affecting downtown. A few asked, do we have to endure Dandelion Park again this year? Area east of Security State Bank. As people come in from the south, that's one of the first things they see as they enter downtown. We have mentioned this numerous times, and yet it is the same year after year. Perhaps the chamber could have a serious survey with all the merchants, not just chosen few. Most of them were called, not in person, and they commented, it's really hard to speak on the phone because of their customers in front of them. They don't want to ignore them. So they thought maybe they could do a better survey with paper or some other means. One customer at one of the stores remembered in the late 50s and early 60s when my father, who had a radio TV shop, helped the city put up speakers that he provided for Christmas music in Santa's house back in the day. A loud PA system for drawings. This went well over downtown just for the holiday season. The music really didn't draw them. Those drawings didn't bring, the drawings did. Back then, you couldn't believe some of the prizes they gave away. Another asked if we actually looked at the surveys we sent out, and if we do, so why don't we do anything about the remarks? Example, transparency, and the fact that many think our city government is going in the wrong direction. Example, using TIP money in the amount of $10,000 for a nonprofit, you people know that is not what TIP was really made to do. Knowing you guys, you're not going to get it back. Knowing how the council works, this act will repeat itself again and again, and you will have done it before and nobody complained. One remark concerning the use of TIP for nonprofit, quote, why open that can of worms, unquote. Another asked, why don't you people think us common people have gone through enough this last year? Some of you people think the best way for revenue is more fees and keep raising property taxes. I would bet that most of you people, none of you, maybe perhaps, did experience pay cuts or unemployment. Well, many people did in this area. You should all try very hard to keep the levy the same year as it was last year, as we just raised it last year for the city property. As most everyone should know, taxes will go up due to rollback of property assessments naturally. This is for Al. Does the city manager realize that the same S that is in spending is also located in savings? Heard one council person said we could use the money from the speed cameras to subsidize the school officer. And as I said before, we didn't put that in there for a moneymaker, not for revenue. Henry replies on the school officer. Most of them want more information. They want to know how many incidents actually happened, documentation. You don't have to mention names. When specifically, the results. What are we looking at? What kind of situations? How many? For the last 3 years, just in the last year of pandemic, so we know it's going to be low. But I enjoy talking to the people, and they enjoy talking to you guys too. And I know some of you work, I understand that. For the most part, they have to contact you. Every year I go around and talk to these people. I don't talk to the same people all the time. Some of them don't like me. I can tell you, they yell. They're not yelling at me personally. They're yelling at the situation. And so I understand that. But I just want to bring these things to your attention. I know we're working on the budget. And I said, we don't intentionally come in here to raise your taxes. We don't intentionally do those. There's essentials that we need to do. One of the questions, and maybe I don't let you explain it now, Al, or whatever. In years past, we've used a lot of our money for the library and the park and recs. Well, we only have so much money to go around. We all know that.
And there's so many entities and certain agencies and stuff that want it, so we have to be careful and not step on toes, I understand that. But I enjoy talking to the people, I do, and, like I said, some of these comments are the same, more or less, da-da-da, so I won't go through the whole thing. I won't take up your time, but I want to thank you for listening, as they did me.
Do you actually go around to different homes in your ward, or,
Yes.
and how many people did you end up getting a chance to talk to?
Overall, with the places I went, 118, not just in my ward. This includes Walmart, Fairway, Norby's, several downtown. Now, surprisingly enough, and it's not surprising enough, a lot of people don't even know what TIF means. One of the guys up at Dunlap's explained it to one of the other guys. These aren't kids either. They didn't understand TIF, and he did a very good job. So when I say transparency, one of the other councilmen mentioned a while back too, that we do those surveys, and that's one of the things we got hammered on. We need to be more transparent. We need to be. I want them to trust us. When I talk to them, I say, be honest with me. I don't tell me what I want to hear or anything. And they were, like I said, one gentleman got a little irate, but he wasn't upset at me. He was upset at the situation, and I understood that. So, like I said, I don't want any discussion because it's not on the agenda, but it gave me a lot to think about. And that's a small sample, 118. But they were all residents of the town. So just wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I've got something. There was a comment made on social media this weekend about the street assessments for street repairs. And I wanted to point out to the public that prior to 2015, I think it was, we didn't do hardly anything with any streets in town. And we had a lot of feedback from citizens that our streets were in horrible condition and they wanted something done with them. As we all know, tax dollars have to go to something like that, and our street department budget is limited from road use tax or the general fund. So that is what we use. In order to try and do more street improvements, we agreed to do a special assessment to the people that lived on those streets and adjacent streets, that they would pay a portion of that to help us generate more funds to do street improvements. And I realize my own situation, it cost me almost $4,000 when they did my street. But you know what? It was worth it because the street's great now. And it's hard for citizens sometimes to understand that, yeah, it improves my street, but everybody else gets the benefit, but all the taxpayers are still paying for this. The street assessment is just a small portion of what goes to that street improvement. So it's a way for us to try and improve streets, and I think if you look around town, we have done a fabulous job in the last 5 years trying to improve streets, and we want to continue doing that. We want to be proud of our streets in this city, and I commend the past council and the current council on what we've done to try and do that. So please be understanding. We're trying to do the best we can with the city. That's it.
Totally agree. Anyone else? Anything from the city clerk? Do you have anything to add tonight? City manager?
Nope.
Get out of here. Where are we?
Yeah.
Okay, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Sorry for all the confusion, folks.
Boy, that's no what's out.